Hey y'all, this is Cheryl of Fiddle-Dee-Dee Designs, and today I'm here to share with you a few tips about making a double page layout or a two-page layout, or what's sometimes called a spread. Usually when I first start making these, I just create a canvas just as you would your normal single page layout. So for this instance, I'm going to start my blank file, and usually I have my little scrapbooking preset that I just choose that has the width and height at 12 inches and a resolution of 300. And I would normally go with this and create my layout, but I found that there are times when I have way more photos than I have room on a 12 by 12 page, and I want it to tell a story in like one go. So I want it, when you turn the photo book or my pages in the album, I want you to see everything all together and not have it separated. So what I do is I just change my width to 24, and I still want my height to remain 12 across. And I'll go ahead and put that in, and I'm going to just put in a solid background color just for purposes of the tutorial, so we don't have a transparent background. The next thing I do once I make the canvas is I go to the menu at the top to view, and I go down to the very bottom and I choose new guide. Now I'm using POC 11. It may be different in your photo editing software depending on what you're using, whether you're using the full-blown Photoshop or you're using some other type of program. You may find similar abilities to do this as well. So I'm going to click on the guide, and I'm going to choose a vertical guide, and I want it to be at 12 inches because I want to see where the page would fold if it was in a photo book, because that's going to make a difference in how I set up my layout. Now once I've done that, of course you can also have turn on your rulers, and you can see that way as well, but I tend to like just having the guideline and not having the ruler on, but that's again personal preference, so do whatever would make sense to you. And in fact, for purposes of this challenge, a ruler may be a good thing to use, since you do have specific guidelines about what size photos that you need to use. So that may be a good way to determine how big or small your photos can be. Okay, I want to turn that back off again. So now I have my guideline, and I can begin actually making my layout. And often what I'll do is create one large photo, and then I'll have other photos around it. So when you're looking at your photos, if there is a series of 8 or 9 photos, you would want to pick the one that really tells the most about your story, and then you would have your other photos that support it. Kind of like, there's a lead actress or lead actor in a film, and there are supporting actresses or actors, and so everybody has their part to play in telling the story. So that's how you kind of want to group your photos. So today I'm going to start off just by showing you an 8 by 10 size, and this is actually 8 by 10 portrait view. So I'm going to pull that in, and it already has a stroke around it, just so you can see it a little bit better. But as you can see, it's quite a huge photo. It's taken up this whole amount of space, and I can obviously turn it whichever way I need to. I can say for instance, if there was nothing really important in this part of the photo, I could let it drift over a bit in either orientation, portrait or landscape. And then of course I can begin by adding additional photos onto the layout. That one's a 3x3, this one's a 3x4, this one's a 4x4, a 4x6, and then finally a 2x2, which is pretty small. So I may begin by bringing some of these photos into different places. So maybe I have a little photo I want to have over here that maybe magnifies something in the larger photo. So you can just begin placing your photos around as you need to. And this is, of course, I don't have any pictures picked out. I'm just randomly placing items onto the page. Now what I'd like to show you is how you can take two single page templates and use them to construct a very beautiful double page layout. And I'm going to be using a set of templates that it's new at the lily pad called All of Me Loves. And I'm going to go ahead and start again with my 24x12 canvas. And I'm going to bring in the two templates that I want to use. And I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and I'm going to grab everything but the background paper and bring that, I'm clicking on the first layer here, scrolling up to the top, and then holding my shift key and clicking with my mouse to select all the layers. And then I'm just going to drag them down so they show up right here. Okay. And then I'm going to go do the same thing on this other single page layout and drag them all down and bring them there. When I made the new one, I didn't make my guide, so I'm going to add that in at 12 inches, and I'm going to make a background paper so we can see a little bit better what is happening. Okay, so it looks like we really need to make sure we move this over just a tad so that we're not going over that guide. Okay, so I've just kind of easily put those in. I'm going to go ahead and select everything and just pull that over just a bit. Okay. Now, I may find that for a better flow, I may want my journaling to go all the way across. So I may want to bring this photo down here to the bottom so that it has more of a flow, and actually turn that off a bit. Or I may just want to keep my journaling over here. You know, it just depends on what you want to do. I think I'm going to leave that over there. But I do want to have more of a larger focal image. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off this photo for just a second. Move some of these elements out of the way. turn that photo back on. And then I'm going to make this, I'm just going to increase the size of this photo so it's quite large. I just find it's a great way to introduce, you know, your subject. So I'm just going to move these here and there. Leave that over here. And so you can see I'm just continuing to move objects around. And you can see here I've taken these two templates that really didn't look like they would go together at all, and they've definitely made something that the two of them can go together. I like the repeated heart misting and you know, some of these other elements that are repeats you're gonna, you know, replace. And of course you'll move your flowers and such off of the main photo, but you can see how you can move those two single page layouts together and use them. I hope that helps you as you create a fantastic double page spread for your memory books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.